So the only supplies you'll need is the paper, of course, in an A4 size, and just a little bit. You want a little bit longer than your 8.5 by 11, or however you get it. So cut a little bit off the edge of your 8-inch to give you this kind of a proportion. And I like to have a little X-Acto knife and a little bit of glue, just some washi tape if you have it. It's not necessary, but it's good to have just to keep your piece together. And to show you the envelopes, I have some vellum just to show you. And this little handy, I'm going to share with you how I use this. It's one of the most used tools that I've ever bought, and it's called the envelope punch board. And if you like to make cards like I do, this punch board is the most handy thing because it gives you all kinds of card, basically whatever your card size is. It tells you what size paper, and this is someone coming in that's new, so let me let her in. Just so I wanted to share this with you because it's really a fantastic tool, and I don't think it's expensive. And as I remember, I think I got mine at 40% off at Michael's or Hobby Lobby or something. So anyway, it comes with a little scoring tool, and I'll show you how I'm going to use it. But just as a nice thing to have if you're, in your crafting, especially as a paper crafter. Hi, I'm going to say hello to Cinda. Just wanted to say hello, welcome. We're glad you're here. We're just going to start our project. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, let me just try to, there you are. Just gonna have everybody, there she is. Oh, she says thanks. Okay, so awesome. Everybody is muted. We're gonna get started. And so I was telling everybody, this is a piece of paper it's 8.25 by 11.5 inches. But you could make the same thing with an 8 by 11. This is 8 by 11. So I cut a ½ an inch off of the paper. These are all slightly different sizes because I just wanted to sort of see what kind of sizes could I get away with. And I kind of recorded them on the backs. Like this one here is 8.25 by 11.5. This is 8.5 by 11.5. This is 8.25 by 11.75. So there's just a slight difference in where this little point ends up. That's all there is. My favorite size though is the 8.25 by 11.5. But like I said, if you only have office paper, 8.25 by 11 or 8 even is better. 8 by 11 might even be better, but it still works. So I'm gonna just go ahead and start. And we've got Alexis coming in. There we are. I'll say hi to Alexis. Hi, Alexis. We're just getting started.
Okay.
So, all right. Good to see you. So now I've got my paper, and I diagrammed this today. And if you guys want the diagram, I haven't scanned it in, but I did diagram it because thank you to Alexis for sending me the link to the gentleman that taught this. But I had a little trouble. His video was very clear, but I just didn't have the measurements, and it took me a little figuring out. So I do have a rough diagram, which is always handy to have as a reference, so you don't always have to go back to a video. So I'll scan this and get it up on the site. It's not pretty, but at least I'll get it up there for you. So what you want to do is you want to start with your paper with the color side down on the table. And I'm going to take it, I'm not going to crease this, but I'm just going to take this, I want to line up this edge here with this horizontal edge. And I'm not folding it though. I do not want to crease it in this area. I'm just going to find it as if I'm going to crease it, but I'm actually going to crease it right in the middle and then I'm going to go halfway down. So I'm going to leave that part not creased. So it's just halfway. So you've got that, it's almost like it's folded, but you just didn't crease it all the way. So then that's my first crease. Now I'm going to open that up and I'm just going to turn it over, and using this guy as a guide, this little crease where my crease ended up. That's not what I'm doing. There we go. Keep it. I'm going to keep it to, I'm going to put that back to where it was. I'm just turning it over, and I don't want to flatten this. So I'm going to use this little edge. I'm just going to fold this backwards on right where you can see that, where you can see where you need to make your crease, right at that, at the edge of this piece right here. Okay, so that's basically what I've done. Is I've got this crease or this folded, and I can adjust it a little bit. I can see I need to, it's kind of like a blind fold. But anyway, that's how you want that to be. And then if you open it up, just open it up like this. So now you're back to where you were. See, you have the uncreased part and then this creased part. And what we're going to do now is really a simple fold. We're just going to fold it in half all the way. Now you can crease all the way on this one. Just crease it all the way across. And we're going to unfold it. And we're just going to rotate it just 40, 1/4 turn. And what I have now is I have this fold here. I've got this diagonal crease happening right here. You can see it. And there's no crease on this side. That's kind of how you need it to be. So the next step is we're going to make a pinch, just a pinch mark right here in the center. And the way I do that is I'm going to take this bottom edge, I'm going to bring it right up to this part, to that crease right here. There's this crease. You see that crease? I'm going to bring it right to that crease. And I'm going to take my finger right in the center of it, and I'm going to pinch, just a little pinch right there. And that gives me a mark of where I'm going to take my next step here. So here's my little pinch. I'm going to take my bottom edge and I'm going to fold it to meet that, just meet that pinch mark that you made. And that you can crease this all the way. So now this is where we're at. So now we're going to turn the whole thing over. So now your color side is up and you're going to see your crease, that crease, you see your lines are all here. Everything's set up. So now, and I have a center crease here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bottom edge on the left side and I'm going to fold it up to that center vertical crease. And I'm just going to crease it. And I'm going to bring the right side the same way, right to meet it. Now it looks like I might have gone over the top there, but let's see. Yep, I did kind of overdo it. I overshot that one, so because I can't see the crease. So I'm just going to go ahead and give that a crease, and then I'm going to refold this one, but I'm going to have to adjust it because I went a little too far over. And this paper is a little thick for me to be using, but I'm just seeing, you can see, kind of this is where the heart will be, and now we just have to make everything else happen. So this is where you would be. So now we will turn it over, and this is kind of the tricky one. And I had a little trouble with that video, but hopefully I'll be able to help you with this. So what you need to do is this point here needs to go right here. But it's going to be a weird move because if I tried to fold this whole thing over, you'd be folding over on the heart. So we're just going to kind of curve it so that this heart doesn't get creased. And I'm going to kind of back up a little bit. I'm going to put my finger, I'm just using my finger kind of, my thumb to hold that. I'm just going to kind of place and firmly hold my finger on that tip, on this heart, the bottom of that heart. And I'm going to take my fingers and I'm just kind of start, it's kind of a weird fold, but I'm going to basically, it's easier to do it if I just kind of keep this point where it's going to be. I'm not moved, I didn't change the point. The point's still under there. And here's what makes this easier. I'm going to just crease. I'm taking my fingers and I'm just going to push all this and kind of make this crease. And then what will happen is then I'm going to drop this section over, just like completely drop it over there. Same thing, bring this over all the way so that you'll see it just laying flat. And what I have are these little points that want to stick up. Well, or little pockets that want to stick up. What you want to do, you see there's a little, there's a valley right here. This is not a valley, that's a mountain. I'm just going to collapse it right over. Basically, this line is going to meet with that. Now I'm going to just do the same thing on the other side. It's kind of an interesting move, but that's kind of where you need to be. And I can do this over, no problem. You just need to you can bring these over and you can adjust this whole thing so that what you have now, if you were to turn it over, I'm going to show you, you can see the heart is starting to happen. So now the next thing is we need to do is to take these little points, these little white points, and I'm just going to fold them over so you can see I'm creating that heart shape. I'm going to fold this corner, and I see one side is bigger than the other, but that won't matter. See, this one is perfectly lined up, and this one's a little bit off, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to fold it one more time. See, that side's a little wonky. That side's perfect, but that's okay. So now you're going to take these little points and you're going to fold them down right to that top of this folded edge here. Okay, and this is where you might need a little glue to secure these little corners. So these little parts here, just take a little glue, just seems to work. I'm just going to stick a little, or glue stick, anything you have, double stick tape, whatever you have, just to kind of get those points to lay flat. And then hold those for a few seconds. And there we go. That should hold it. And now what I have, if I turn it over, now I have my heart, and I just need to make the rest of it. The rest of it's very easy. So what you're going to do is, you see where these little angles, where they start to come down, we need to make a fold that's right at this place here. So you can use if you want to use a ruler just to give yourself, to make sure that the side is even. That's a good thing, just to start because you can tend to go off a little since we don't have a mark here. Or you can use just this, you can fold and bring these edges right. Basically, you're just folding it here, and you're going to create a hem. And you're going to do that on the left side, and then you do it on the right side. Just take that and just create a hem. And it's really probably good to have a ruler, because I tend to go off, and I don't know why, but I tend to, just something, or you can even mark it with a pencil with the ruler, and then, or score it might even be better if you have a way to do a scoring tool. All right, so now I've got that. Now it's pretty much done. What you have to do now is just take this crease is already here, and now I'm just going to fold it up, and you might have to adjust a little bit, and then you're done. You're actually finished. So you can see I've got my little design, and what I'll do if I want to have the little slot there, I'm just going to mark right here and here with a pencil, right there. And if I want to take a ruler, I am just going to cut a little tiny slice. And it's really good if you have if I can find it. Here it is. So I'll just take right here, I marked it here, and I'm just going to slice it. Not too big. You just want to make a little place to insert the puck, or the tip of the heart. And this is where you would do your letter. You could write something in here, you could draw, or you could just insert a gift card, or there's just different things you could do. You could write write a letter and fold it up and stick it inside, or you can just write on the actual paper itself. And now that I've got this, now I can just take my point of my heart and just tuck it right in, and it is complete. All right, so now I'm going to show you how I did the envelope. So let's say I wanted to do something like this. The envelope for this size, which I think I wrote it down somewhere. Okay, let's see. I'm going to find one that looks like it will fit, and that one's probably that's good. That one's a good one. So this is 8 1/8 square, I'm pretty sure. So let me just double check that. So you basically cut a square, and this is actually 8 1/4, so it'll be slightly bigger, but that's okay. So with an 8 1/4, let's see if I've got one that is 8 1/4. No, 3 3. Okay. So the way you do these, the way these little handy guys work. So if you decide what, you basically take the measurement of your card. So like this one, my measurement of my card, my finished card it's 6 1/4 by, I'd say it's 3 3/4. So I have to get the closest to that size. So I don't see a 3 3/4, I see a 4-inch, and then I see a 4 by 6. Did I see? So 4 by 6.5 is probably the closest size. So then what you do is then it just tells you what size paper to have and what size score line to have. And that's my next step. So it says here 3 3/8. So what I have to do is I take it's got this little arrow here, and then I just measure. There's this little marking notches right here. So I have it at 3. Did I say 3 3/8? I think I did. So I just mark it. I do that, and then I'm going to punch it, and I'm going to score. Now, the thing with vellum, you have to be really careful when you're scoring it to not go too deep, because vellum is just cracks like crazy. So I just score a very light score, and then I don't need to measure anymore. I'm just going to go by where the score line is. So now I just take this and I punch, and then I'll score. And I'm going to rotate it and see where my line is. Right here, punch and score. These are just so easy once you get the hang of it. There we go, punch and score. So I only had to measure it once. And then the rest was, so there's my little envelope. And the cool part about this is now I've got these little corners that I want to have rounded, so I can actually round the corners with the other side of the punch, which is just too cool. I've had this thing for a long time, and like I said, it is one of my most used tools in my paper cutter. These are my favorite paper tools because they're so versatile, and you don't have to buy envelopes for everything. You can just make your custom envelopes.
So now that I have, who makes it?
This is made by, that's right, that's We Are Memory Keepers.
Oh, okay.
And I think that they probably, this is an older one. I think they come in a different color now, and they might have, their guides might be a little different, but you can get them on with your 40% off, the coupons at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. They sell those at the discounted price, which is nice. So that's a great little tool. I'm just going to take these just fold them along the score lines. And because it's vellum, it is not as easy, but you could use regular paper as well. Just any old, any paper. You can use magazine pages, stuff like you have laying around, or gift wrap, anything that you could use to be made into an envelope. And you could take double stick tape, which I don't have. I forgot it. It's somewhere, but who knows? in my stash. But you can put your envelope in, and you could use glue or double stick tape and seal it. And then what you could do is address it and mail it like this. And I love that because you can see the heart, the shape underneath. Especially like it with the clear vellum, because and this vellum came in a pad of, was a 9 by 12 pad, so it gives you more options as far as how many, what kind of envelope or what kind of size envelopes you want. And I just used a double stick tape runner here to hold that together.